G'day, it's Clive Roxinger here. Now, I've got some cool new stuff from Total Tools. And they gave me a free hat. For nothing. For free. Zero cost. No charge. For nothing. Now, when people say, you know, how much do you want to pay? I went to the local scrapyard, and the guy asked me, how much do you want to pay? I said, nothing. He wasn't very impressed. Anyway, the price was right, so I'll leave that there in the background. Well, I just got it for nothing. Now, I've got a few things here. This is my Creality 3D printer. Now, what I do is I buy cheap junk and push it to the limit. And you can design with the little Creality printers. What you do is you take the little card out and delete it, and basically it will just print anything that's on that little card. So you've got to make sure that whatever you want to print in is the only job on there. You've got to have your STL file and your G-code file, all that sort of stuff. You draw it up, I draw it up in Blender. I think you make your G-code file and then it creates the STL file. I think that's how it works. And you put the STL and the G-code file onto the little card, and away you go. And you've got to make sure that it's within the boundaries of this plate, because that's the maximum dimensions of your 3D printer. Now in this particular case I've got a lot of cool stuff. This is really good. I'm 66, so all of this is completely new to me. Back in the old days, you buy a hammer, you get a choice of two, you know. You get the a brown one or a blue one. These days you can get everything that you want. Now I've got trouble with my arthritis, so I've got a lightweight hammer. It's got a plastic handle. And that makes it a lot easier on my wrists. And I wanted to clean this plate off. Now I bought a very thick plate. Now the idea is that you have to go to a steel place, give them dimensions. I think it was 5 by 5 by. That was about. I think it was about. Oh, I can't remember now. It was about 12mm thick or something. It wasn't as thick as I wanted, but I got as thick as I could get. When you're doing stuff like this, it's very important that you get a nice stable base. You don't really want this. See that? That's actually not advised, because you're actually bending the plate, but it doesn't really matter in this place, in this case. And I bought myself a nice wide chisel, just a cheap one, for scraping. This is for getting the glue off, because to do a really nice job on the 3D printer, you've really got to secure the base down. Otherwise the part moves around all over the place, and the oyster stuff, I think it's metho I use to clean the glue off. And that's just that tube glue, which I've got here. It's just this stuff, which I've got quite a bit of. And you put the glue on the plate, you put your G-code and STL file in your little 3D printer, away you go. Now the trick to this is these clamps are wonderful, because they reach and they're expandable, which means that once you undo that clamp, you just slide it up and down on that shaft, and see how it's got a reach. Unlike the old ones, which is just my panel beat and stuff down there, unlike these old crappy ones, they kind of get in the way of your work. These ones are out of the way, I love it. And the trick with this is you've got to have a dead flat corner at the back. That's the trick with this. You can't have, see how it's got a curve in there? There's a curve in there if you look at that. And that's bad because it'll bend your plate. So you've got to keep it dead flat. And then you chisel the glue off and it takes it off in 2 seconds. A bit of setting up. I'm going to make this all nice. It's going to have a special home. A place for everything and everything in its place. And as an extension, I saw a guy in the video do this, because it's got a stop on it. That's your extension. Use that because it's got a stop in there. And you use that to put extra pressure on your clamps. Whereas I like them nice and tight, and I don't have to bust me guts. You know, you let the machines do all the work. When I started as a panel beater as an apprentice, Mick Welsh, the tradesman, said make your work as easy for yourself as you can. You know, panel beating was a hard job. Make your job as easy as you can. Make sure you're working in a nice clean work area, that your tools are where they're supposed to be, and if you clean about your work and you're not stupid, you're going to have a reasonably good working day. Yeah, you start falling over tools and stupid things like that, you end up in hospital. Not a good idea. And where did I get these clamps? I didn't buy the hammer at Total Tools, but I bought these clamps there and the chisel, and they were quite cheap in price too. That really wasn't very dear at all. It was only about 20 bucks, the chisel. That's a lovely chisel. It doesn't have a very heavy end. They had one for about 60 bucks. And I would say that'd be the only thing that you'd pay more money for. I bought my grinder there, got that at All Tools. I've got my drill press here, I bought at All Tools again. So I've got some really nice gear going on here. And I'm going to buy another grinder and put polishing stuff on it so I can polish things up. So that's going to have a wire brush on one side. You can buy you can buy a heavy wheel for that for about 30 bucks, which is very cheap. And the big wide thick wire brush, which was very, very cheap as well. I've seen them almost twice the price. So this is for the 3D printer, and the clamps I bought at Total Tools, where they gave me a free hat for nothing, for free, zero cost. Didn't cost me anything, and I didn't steal it on this particular occasion. So yeah, I've got to make up that rubber band measuring device. It's for measuring tension in rolling chassis, and I've got to make up a prototype on the 3D printer first, and I'll make one up in steel. So Clive Rocksinger over and out.